Okay, so we are in Tinkercad and we have created a new project, all right, a 3D design project. Notice that up on the left here, I have this little cube that I can kind of rotate and look at my 3D design in different views, and that is really important for you as you are designing to make sure that it all is working the way that you want it to work, because in 3D design, what looks a certain way from the top is going to look totally different from the side sometimes, okay? So step one would be we need to add a basic shape to make the base of our keychain, all right? So you have a couple different options. You need to pick a shape that has a flat 2D shape on the top and bottom. So you have a box that you could use. Again, it has to be the same on the top and bottom. So it has to be able to sit right on the bottom of the plane here, all right, and have a flat top so that we can put writing on it. If you remember, we're putting our name on our keychain. So if you are not able to write on it, if it's not flat, then you can't use that shape. The other thing that we have to think about is it going to fit our name? Is it going to fit the thing that we want it to fit? So these are the ones that people have used so far. We've been using boxes, and they can be rectangles or squares. The cylinder shape could be a circle or an oval. You could also use this, they're calling it a wedge because it does have a flat side if you really wanted to. You could use, they are calling this a polygon, it's a hexagon. You could make a heart or you could make a star, all right? And those are really the basic shapes that you can make your keychain. So I'm gonna pick the most basic one, which is the rectangle. That's the one I think most people have used and I think is easiest to show you. So I'm gonna tap wherever I want it to go. Since I'm making a rectangle, I'm gonna put it over here. And then I just tap and now I have my square, my cube. Okay, notice that we've got all of these little white dots, and the more I zoom in, the easier it is to kind of see where those dots are and what those dots represent. So the first thing that I want to do is I want to look at the height. Okay, this dot right here, when I hold my cursor over it, it says that it is 20 millimeters. I want to make it smaller than that. Okay, you don't want to make it any smaller than 5. If you make it 1 millimeter, it's so tiny that it would be easy to break. But you also don't want to make it 20 because it is too thick and it will take too long to print. So we are going to say somewhere between 5 and 10 millimeters. I would say about 7 or 6 would be great. Okay, so I have that. Now I want it to be longer, so I'm going to tap over here and I'm going to make it longer. And again, I'm going to look at it from all sides and make sure that it's a rectangle the way that I want it to look. All right, so now I've got my rectangle. My next step is I want to put my name on it. So I have two choices here. The scribble, a lot of people are wanting to design their own name. They want to draw in bubble letters. They want to use the Apple crayon. Any of that is fine. If you want to do a scribble, all you have to do is tap on the scribble, pick where you want it to go. So I want it to go here. And then on this plane, we're going to just basically scribble. So if I want it to say Mrs. Cotillo, if you notice up on the right side, it's kind of showing me what it's going to look like. That's my Mrs. I'm drawing this with a trackpad, so bear with me. It's not the best drawing of all time, but I'm just showing you my, cursive writing to spell my name, Mrs. Cotillo, okay? Then when I'm done, see how up here the preview shows me what it's going to look like. Then I tap on done. With anything in 3D design, I know that I can move it. I can make it bigger, smaller, and rotate it. So I'm going to make my writing a little bit smaller. This little arrow right here helps me to rotate it. I'm going to look at it from the top. And so when I look at it from the top, it's kind of not really where I want it to be. So I'm moving it to where I want it to be. Maybe I'm making it a little bit stretched out, a little bit taller, or whatever I want it to look like. So now notice when I hold it sideways, instead of only being, a couple millimeters tall, 6 millimeters, I have now added 10 more millimeters. So this is the part where I want to make this really small. I can make it 1, 2, or 3 millimeters if I want it to stand out. If I want it to not stand out, the other option that I have is I can tap on this little black cone here and I can dip it down and then it will be like imprinted into my keychain. So now when I look at it, you can kind of see, and then I can tap on whole and that's going to be carved into instead of popping out. If you want it to be a solid, you can lift it up higher You can make it a little bit bigger to pop out, or you can turn it into a hole and then it's like an imprint, and then you can bring it down a little bit lower so it's going in. So those are the two different options for how you want to have your name. Okay, so now I have my base, the rectangle. I have my name in a scribble. If I want to make my name will look a little bit more formatted, I can tap where it says text and then tap where I want the text to go. All right, I can make it smaller. This one's a little bit easier to change right away. Smaller, bigger, wider, skinnier, however I want it to be. It's also giving me a couple different fonts. They're not the greatest choices, but there are some differences, so you can pick what font you want. I'm going to pick Sans, and then instead of saying text, I of course wanted to say my name, so I'm going to write my name. Okay, so now that you're going to notice the same thing. It's giant, it's huge, so I need to make it smaller so it fits. All right, I'm going to bring it up here. And again, the same thing applies if I want it to be in, like carved into my keychain. I hit this button, and then I have to either make it smaller like this and or kind of use this. So this little black triangle here is a way for me to lift things up off the plane or put them down into the plane. So if I want it to be carved in, I'm going to put it right at the base. And now you can see my name is carved in and it's like flat across the top and there's nothing on the bottom. That's really important for you when you're done, is to just kind of like look at it and make sure that it looks the way that you want it to look from every angle. Okay. So this one, I guess I'm going to make it, my name is carved. All right. So I have Mrs. Cotillo and I'm almost done. So now it's a keychain, it's not a plaque, right? So I need to make a hole. Two ways of doing this. You can use the cylinder that's already a cut out hole, or you can use the regular cylinder. I'm going to use this one because I think it's easier, and I'm going to put it in the corner of my design. Now look right here, I can change it if I want to. So if I pick the orange cylinder, then I can make it the cutout hole. All right, now I'm going to make this small enough so that a keychain can fit through it. If it's about 3 by 3, you are good. This part can be a little bit tricky. We don't want to put it too close to the edge. And I'm going to tell you this in class also. We don't want to put it too close to the edge because then it just comes out like a hole and you can't put anything through it. It's just like a piece is chopped off the side. So we want to make sure that this little cylinder here goes enough around the side so that there's space around it. And now you might notice it's huge, right? It looks like it's this hole that's sticking up. So again, I have to tap on that little triangle that's black, and I have to make sure that it's going through my whole design. I can make it so that it stops at 0 if I do it like this. As long as you look through the bottom and you see that there is a hole right there, right? You can see that hole. That means, okay, fine, it worked. It went all the way through. A lot of people, myself included, like to just do it like this. So that way you know for sure that cylinder is going all the way through and there is definitely going to be a hole there, okay? And then once you're done, so I could be done here. I have my name on a keychain and I have a hole. What I'm going to do is I'm going to tap on everything so that it all turns blue. So notice that when I tap here, this turns blue, this turns blue. So I'm going to tap on each one and notice up at the top it says that there are 3 shapes. I'm going to hit this button right here, group or weld. I'm going to group them all together. And then once I hit that button, I can now move my keychain all the way around. And it kind of looks like the Mrs. Cotillo. I made it maybe a little too deep. It looks like it's going all the way through. But that is what my keychain looks like. And then if I wanted to change the size of the keychain now to make it bigger or smaller, I can still do that. But notice that when I move it, it moves the whole entire keychain and not just the letters or just the one part. So that last step is really important. Then when you're ready to share it, you're all done. It always, Tinkercad gives things weird names. So I'm just going to write Mrs. Cotillo keychain. So when I share it with the teacher, she's going to know what it is. Okay. Then I'm going to go up to the corner. There's a little person with a plus sign. It's going to ask you to generate a new link. So you're going to tap on that and then copy the link. Then you go right into Schoology and paste it into a message and send me the message so that I can print your keychain. I know there's a lot of steps in this. I know it can be a little bit tricky and I'm here to help you, but those are the basic steps to making a keychain. We have a shape, we have letters, and then we have a cylinder that is a hole to attach the key ring. All right. Send me a message if you have any questions and good luck. Bye.